Finals game two, the Pacers never in doubt, down 15 in the fourth quarter. Monster comeback. They win game one. So what does that mean for game two? Well, I've got the answers and I've got the data to back it up. Tons of charts from Stat Daddy. Ralph Michaels coming up. I've also got side, total, player prop, free picks, free analysis right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. And let's get to it. Never in doubt, Indiana Pacers never led until 0.3 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. They won the game outright as a, 9.5 point dog. By the way, 182 times over the last half century, a team had trailed by that much with like a few minutes remaining and come back to win an NBA Finals. It's now 1-182. The Pacers continue to do it. They did it a few other times this season, down 6-9 points in the fourth quarter, 1 minute remaining. So the question becomes, are they a fortunate team? Are they a team of destiny? Are they just getting a little damn lucky? Well, I think it's a combination of everything. But I'm going to break this game down with the data to back up why I like side totals, player props, and whatnot here. First, let's talk about the situation with the Thunder blowing that 15-point lead in the middle of the fourth quarter and losing outright. For a couple things. First of all, three-point shots were falling. Miles Turner banking in shots left and right. He banked in a three, banked in a two. You got Obi Toppin hitting, 5 3-pointers. Halliburton underperformed. He didn't do much until that miracle shot to win the game. And don't forget, there was a lane violation call when everybody on both teams was in the lane. And for some reason, they gave Siakam an extra free throw. He made that one after missing. Otherwise, it would have been a tie game. So a lot of weird pieces in the fourth quarter there. Bizarro world NBA playoffs continue. But I think things get back to normal here in game two. And I think the Thunder is still a live play here to win the series at a discounted price. We'll talk about that in a moment. But, hey, look, Ralph Michaels gave us some great data for game one. I had him pull up all the different situations, and he talked about how strong home favorites, home teams in general have been in game one. And we'll pop that chart up real quick for you to see all the teams that won game one. That straight-up record on the right there, and then the ATS record was the result for game one. These are game one results for the last 20 years in the NBA playoffs. And the teams in red are the teams that went on to lose the series. And you'll notice that all 5 teams at home that have lost the series over the past 20 years won game one. What's crazy is those 2 teams that lost game one came back to win the series still. And that, of course, very recently was that Warriors-Celtics series. The Warriors lost game one by 12 and came back to win that series against Boston. And then, of course, that was the 2022 finals, the 21 season 22 finals. And you go a little bit deeper down that list, you'll see in 2012, the 2013 finals, the Heat lost game one to the Spurs, came back to win that series. And, of course, the year before that is when the Thunder won at home, then lost 4 straight to Miami. By the way, the one game missing is back on the 2003 season, 2004 finals, right below Spurs-Pistons, was Lakers-Pistons. Lakers did lose game one at home and ended up losing 4-1 in that series. So, once again, the last 3 teams to lose at home going back over the last 21 years have gone 2-1 in the series still, more recently 2-0. So I think the Thunder is still a live play in the series. I do think they win game number 2 here and bounce back. And by the way, they were at high as minus 650, minus 700 to win the series before game one. They're now minus 320 at South Point, minus 316 at Pinnacle, minus 300 at DraftKings. I like the Thunder at minus 300 to win this series at DraftKings, or minus 330 in other spots. But hey, look, not big on laying juice in general, but if you're going to play this adjusted series price, I do think there's some nice value now with the Thunder. Half the price, 50% discount at minus 300 is. You say history shows this series is not over just because they lost game one, and they dominated game one. Once again, a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. Pacers never led until the final shot of the game. It's not like Indiana was the better team. And I talked about some of the three-pointers falling. Well, the other reason it's been bizarro playoffs have been some terrible coaching decisions. I talked about Joe Mazzulla should have been fired mid-series against the Knicks. Of course, Thibodeau gets fired after the Indiana series. I didn't quite understand that. I thought the Knicks did as much as they could do. They weren't a great team, really a 2-man team. And don't forget, Boston blew back-to-back 20-point leads in games 1 and 2 because they kept chucking up threes. That's why I said the coaching was at fault. Well, another reason I think the coaching was at fault with the Thunder in game 1, they pull Hartenstein and they pull Holmgren off for the last half of the fourth against a fast and small Indiana team. Now, yes, Indiana needed some threes, so maybe you're thinking, well, those guys aren't great at perimeter defense. Well, it didn't work out. And I'm going to talk more about that in the player prop segment here in a moment, where I think we will see some changes. But let's throw up some more charts from, once again, Ralph Michaels, Stat Daddy, the human database, the pin, father of Jeff. You can find him at Cal Sports LV on WagerTalk. Of course, he also has great data every week on WagerTalk today here. But we're going to pull up a few charts that he was nice enough to send over here for Game 2. And first of all, let's look how Game 2 might play out. from a historical perspective. First, I want to show those teams that are coming off a loss in game one at home. And once again, it's only happened 3 times since the 2004 finals, as I mentioned, over the past 20 plus years. You'll see the bottom there. We do have that Lakers-Piston game that was missing from the last chart. They are the one team that lost game one and went on to lose the series still. But if you notice here in game two, all 3 bounced back. In fact, the 2 recent ones, I talked about the Warriors. They got blown out in game one. Well, they blew out the Celtics in game 2 back in the 22 finals 3 years ago by 19 points, easily covering a 4.5-point line. You'll see below that Heat Spurs finals back in 2013. Heat lost game 1 when they came back to win easily by 19 points as a 6-point favorite. So once again, modest-sized favorites, blowout wins by 19 points both times in recent history. That other time it didn't happen, though, actually it did happen, was Lakers-Pistons. And, of course, the Lakers, as I mentioned, are the team that went on not to win that series. They lost the next 3 after that. But look, on the far right, that was an overtime game. So once again, the Pistons showed from the start they were the better team in that series. They won game 1. Their only loss in the series was in overtime. They won the next 3. That's not the case in this series. The Thunder dominated game 1, up 15, never trailed to the final shot. As you see in more competitive series in recent history, Warriors and Heat both won by 19 as 4- and 6-point favorites. And what's the line now? Oklahoma City minus 11. So, yes, the price is hefty, but the Thunder are the only way I would play game 2 because I expect them to win this game. And if they win, they most likely cover. If you look over this year, too, their recent wins have been blowouts. Don't forget they lost game 1, of course, to Denver, came back and won by over 40 points in game 2 of that series a few weeks ago. They've been strong at home in general. They've been a 70% play at home this season in all games. And they've been a really strong home team compared to the road games. You know, I said all along, I thought the win that Indiana would probably get in this series was that game 3 coming up in Indiana on Wednesday night. But now that's a different story because the Pacers have stolen the game on the road. The Thunder will probably be more focused. But once again, if you look at the recent losses in this series, especially when they're back at home, it's been blowout central for OKC. As I mentioned, they lost by 2 in game 1 against Denver, very similar to this close loss. Came back to win 149-106. And they were a 10.5-point favorite in that game, just like they were in game 1 of that series. 149 points, their highest offensive output of the season. By the way, we'll look at the total in a moment, but that gets me liking the team total. If you don't want to lay the 11 with OKC, the over 119.5 team total would make a lot of sense. And then, of course, they swept Memphis, but in that next series against Minnesota, they did lose game 3 on the road, won game 4, and came back in game 5 and won by 30 their next game home. So once again, their next game home after losing a game at some point has been very strong, and I look for that trend to continue here in game 2. And once again, history does show that teams that lose at home in game 1 bounce back in game 2. Now, if you go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, we'll pop up the next chart from Ralph Michaels at Kel Sports LV. You'll see that in general, at home off a home loss in the finals is not a great trend. If you look down the list here, it's been pretty much 500. In fact, it is exactly 500 over the last 21 years. 5-5-2 against the spread. So once again, game 2 teams off a home loss, 2-0-1. Otherwise, 3-5-2. So yes, it's been a 50-50 trend, but it's been stronger in the game 2 situations. That doesn't concern me too much. What I do want to point out about this chart, though, and Ralph sent this over, is how strong the over-under angle has been. Look at the 12 games on this chart. 10 unders, 2 overs. And once again, the average line on these games was just 196. Because once again, the totals are much higher now than they were 10, 20 years ago in the finals. So once again, you'll see that all these games but 2 have stayed under. I do think Oklahoma City's team total over is worth a look, but they're a great defensive squad. So the Indiana team total under might be the way to play that under trend. Pacers team total under could be worth a look because once again, 10 of the 12 games in this scenario, when you have a home team off a home favorite loss in the finals, have gone under. Once again, 10-2 to the under. I gave you the under in game 1 here in the video. I know many of you cashed with that. I did mention how the Thunder and the under are correlated. Pacers over correlated. So while I like OKC to bounce back, you would say, well, that correlates to the game under. But I think their offense is going to have a breakout game. So once again, if you're playing the under, you might want to just hedge it a bit and play the Pacer team total under instead. And once again, Thunder about 119.5 last I checked, and that makes the Pacer team total, I believe, around the 108 range. Even so, shop around anywhere from 108, 108.5s even. Pacer team total under, I think, might be the way to attack that 10-2 under trend, which we've seen over the last 21 years in the NBA Finals. And then we'll pop up one third chart here. It goes a little bit deeper, more of a sample set here for all, and these are all NBA Final games only. This is just favorites in the finals in general that are laying 7.5 points or more. And you'll see that it hasn't been all that great overall, especially in recent years. In fact, overall, this angle has not held up too well. It's gone just 7 and 10 against the spread with 2 pushes. But if you look back, going back to 2019, it's gone just 1-5-1 against the spread. So once again, the last 7 times we've had an NBA final this big, NBA Finals favorite this big, 7.5 or more, it's just 1-5-1 against the spread. And that includes the Thunder not covering in game 1 as a 9, even closed as you see on this chart here, a 10-point favorite. But that was 9.5 earlier in the week. But once again, Thunder failed to cover as a big favorite in game 1. It's now just 1-5-1 against the spread. So I like OKC, but once again, that gives you a little bit of pause here because they are laying an inflated price. Once again, it was 9.5 to 10 in game 1. Now it's 11. So that's why I think team total over Thunder makes sense, or Pacer team total under if you're a little hesitant to lay the big number. All right, those are some great charts. Once again, thanks to Ralph Michaels, Stat Daddy at WagerTalk.com. You can get more information from Ralph on Twitter, on X, at CalSportsLV on a daily basis. All right, I broke down the side and total for you here. Let's look at some player props now for the game. My man, Dan Alexander, our producer, Dan the Man, got some box score props for us. So look, we got over 22,000 views in the Game 1 video. And part of the reason is because we've done every NBA playoff games. You guys have been loyal watching these. Thumbs up, likes, comments below. But I really appreciate the views. And the more the views go up, the more graphics, the more time we're going to take to produce these. So Dan did a great job. He pulled up some box score data. Pop one of them up, Dan. I think you got the Pacers first. Boom, there we go. The winning team gets to go first. The misleading winning team. We need a stat on there is how long they led in the game. 0.3 seconds they led. So what was that? 47 and 59 minutes that the Thunder led in this game and the Pacers won. It's just insane. I guess there were a couple times it was tied. But nonetheless, we see in the box score there, certain guys played better than others. I mentioned Obi Toppin having, 5 threes, I believe. You know, this is a guy who's coming off the bench. I severely doubt he's been able to replicate that here in game 2. And he probably will get some minutes, but he was 6 for 9 shooting, 5 for 8 from 3, 17 points. I would look to fade Toppin. And once again, if we're looking for a Pacer team total under, we're looking for guys to fade. Obi Toppin is a guy that I would definitely be looking to fade in this game. Miles Turner, 5 for 10, but he's banking in threes, 2 for 5 from 3, 15 points. Siakam, 7 for 15, only took 2 threes, 19 points. I'd be more in a hurry to fade Halliburton for a few reasons. He finished with 14 points, had that 2-pointer to win the game. Don't believe he made a shot before that in most of the fourth quarter. He had only 12 points until the final second of the fourth quarter. 6 for 13, 2 for 7 from 3. Halliburton's a very up-and-down guy, only 6 assists, but I'd like to fade him under on points, maybe assists, because during the regular season, the 2 times these teams played, and I mentioned, by the way, fading him in game 1 for this reason. Yes, he had 18 points in the recent meeting in March, but he only had 3 assists, and he was 6 for 12, shooting 4 for 9 from 3, and still only had 18 points. You go back deeper to the first meeting back on December 26th, Halliburton played 35 minutes, had 4 points, took 6 shot attempts, and had only 8 assists. Once again, Thunder have locked him down somewhat. Thunder are the best defense in the NBA this year, the most efficient defense in the NBA. Coming off a loss at home, I look for strong defense from OKC. Halliburton under, Toppin under. Really, any guys you want to pick, I would lean under on the Indiana player props in game number 2. All right, let's pop up the OKC box score here and dig a little deeper into some guys maybe on a play-on situation. Once again, I think it is bounce-back mode for the Thunder, and I do think their team total could soar over, as we saw them put up over 149 points, or exactly 149 points in this scenario against Denver in Game 2 a couple rounds ago. So let's look at some players here that we can bounce back with. I mentioned the questionable coaching decision to leave Holmgren off the court. Keep in mind, he did not play in either regular season game against the Pacers this year. He only played 23 and a half minutes and to set out the last half of the fourth quarter. I think that was a mistake. I look for him to get more minutes. I look for him to get more shot attempts. He was just only 2 for 9 shooting. He had only 1 3-point shot attempt, finished with 6 points. But it's not like he's having a bad NBA playoffs. This is the guy, the final 2 games against Minnesota, Chet Holmgren, had 22 and 21 points. He had 10 points in game 3, but he had 22 in game 2, 15 in game 1. He had 21 points or more in 3 of the final 4 games against Minnesota. And after his worst game of the playoffs, just 6 points, I look for him to bounce back here. His point total was 14.5, 15.5 against Minnesota. I saw as high as 17.5 against the Pacers. It's now 14.5. We're talking about a 20, 25% drop here. Holmgren over 14.5 has some nice value. I think he gets more shots, more minutes, and he has a nice bounce-back game. Chet Holmgren over 14.5 points is definitely worth a look in Game 2 with the Thunder. And once again, not going to argue with anybody else on Oklahoma City that you want to play over. Dort is a guy I mentioned might have a good game. He was 5 for 10, but 5 for 9 from 3, 15 points. Can't shoot much better than that. Wallace is a guy to be careful with. He started play 33 minutes, had only 6 points though. And Wallace, I really think, might get less minutes if Holmgren gets more minutes. I think Hartenstein might get more minutes as well. He came off the bench. He started against Minnesota, but came off the bench in Game 1 of this series. Had only 17 minutes, but they get 9 points, 3 for 5 shooting. Hartenstein, 9 points in 17 minutes. I think he gets more playing time. He could be worth looking over. We were faded him in Minnesota series, but I think he has better matchups in this series. But Wallace is the one guy I would not recommend playing over with OKC, even though I think they could have a good offensive game. I think his minutes might be a bit more limited. So stay away from Wallace. Look for Holmgren overs for sure. Maybe Hartenstein over as well. SGA, we're never looking to fade superstars. He was a monster. 30 shot attempts, 38 points. Only got to the free throw line 8 times, though. So he still could go over even after the big game. His over or pass for me. No way I'm fading him. Jalen Williams has been very up and down. Probably stay away from him. But I do like Holmgren over and maybe Hartenstein over and SGA over would be the only way I play him. I'd stay away from Case and Wallace in Game 2. Hey, there you go. Man, some great graphics from Ralph Michaels and also Dan the Man Alexander, our producer. Hey, if you all found these useful, if you like the graphics, comment below. Let me know. If not, hey, man, we'll save an hour of work prepping for the video each day, and we'll just go straight old school fashion. But if you're liking the videos, if you're liking the graphics, please let me know. User feedback, viewer feedback goes a long way here on Wager Talk TV, and I do read the comments and I reply back. So let me know about the format if you found the charts useful, and if you did, hey, we'll try to pull up some more great data for Game 3 later this week. Don't forget, thumbs up, like goes a long way to keeping these videos free and plentiful here on Wager Talk TV. And most importantly, let me know who you like in Game 2 Sunday night. By the way, this game, 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC, a half hour earlier because it's Sunday night. Side, total, player props. How are you attacking Game 2 on Sunday night? Hey, include some analysis if you have time this weekend. Let's learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And if you want to make sure you get an alert when these videos go up, I'll have the Game 3 video for Wednesday night up, probably Monday or Tuesday, nice and early next week. Make sure you click subscribe and you click that bell here for an instant alert. And also, when I post daily free baseball plays, been getting up a lot of free baseball videos throughout the week. So click subscribe and click the bell for an instant alert so you know not only when the NBA Final videos are posted, but also daily free baseball videos are posted throughout the week here on Wager Talk TV. Hey, we talked about some free plays. How would you like to get my official best bets for Game 2 NBA Finals Sunday night and my daily baseball best bets each and every day? Well, I always preach the importance of taking a long-term investment approach. And yes, we do have the 1-year all-access instant $811 discount. Gets it down to exactly $3 a day, $1 a play. That gets every baseball, basketball, football play until next June on a daily basis. That's a great long-term investment approach. But I know some of you are new. Some of you are still building your bankroll. You can still get in and get the 7-day sampler for just $77. And this special offer is about to expire after this weekend. You see it on the screen now. 7 days for just $77. That works out to $11 a day for all sports, all access. But you got to use that promo code you see on your screen. Game on 77. Game on 77. Once again, 7 days of all sports. That's my NBA Finals and Major League Baseball best bets for just $77 when you use promo code Game On 77. You just go to my page on the right-hand side. You'll see the All Sports All Access Pass. You'll see it's normally $99, but when you go to checkout, use promo code GameOn77 to get 7 days for just $77. It's a great sampler, but once again, if you're ready to take a serious, consistent investment approach to sports betting, the 1-year All Access is available with promo code SM365. Gets it down to $1 a play, $3 a day, about $1 a play, instant $811 discount. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Hey, get to my page quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. And while you're there, get the bonus free play. You know, I'm very selective. 2 to 3 best bets per day on average. That bonus free play is my last cut, just a bit outside. It's still a strong opinion. I don't want to waste it, so it goes up for free for everybody. So once again, strong best bets every day, promo code, special offers, but most importantly, a daily free play. So you're building your bankroll, doing your own handicapping, still check out my page to get that free play. And when you're ready to take a serious investment approach to sports betting, get one of those all sports specials. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Hey, get there quicker. Shortcut WT.buzz/SM. I've been doing this, by the way, since 1996 as a full-time professional handicapper, more than half my life. Yeah, guess my age. Most of you know it, I think. But seriously, I've won consistently now for 4 decades. It's so simple. If I have a game, I send it to my clients. And I'm very selective, 2 to 3 best bets per day. Whether it's a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, or a 1 year package, every client gets the same plays I'm personally using. And I've won consistently for 29 years now as a full-time professional handicapper since 1996. And by the way, this is the time of year to get on. I know basketball's almost done. Football's around the corner. Don't sleep on baseball. Last summer, we went on monster runs starting right now in June. In fact, we finished up 103 units on baseball best bets alone. Doubled our bankroll with just baseball last year and finished up over 133 units in all sports combined. Now's a great time to get on board, so check it out. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Hey, on the way out, you can also get all this information, links to the videos, daily free plays on X, on Instagram. Follow me on social media at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L. You see it on the bottom of your screen there, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And don't forget, on the way out, let me know how you found this video useful with the graphics, the charts, also who you like in Game 2 Sunday night. Comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, and click that bell for instant alerts. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.